Why is VeChain exploding? And is VeChain set to explode even higher? Well, in this video, we will provide some of the VeChain roadmap development of the VeChain project, and I will also provide some other news that I believe may be the catalyst or reasons why VeChain is experiencing the massive gains that it's seeing as of now. And also, we will go into a little bit of the chart where we will perform some technical analysis, and I will also be giving out my price prediction on VeChainThor 2021. So just stick around until we get into the chart. By the way, welcome back to Chibind Brothers. My name is Joel. Please allow me to ask you to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, as it helps us with the YouTube algorithm to get our message to a wider audience. Now, in one of my previous videos, actually I've done two previous videos on VeChain, and in my first ever video on VeChain, I believe this was on January 31st of 2021, in that video I went on explaining what VeChain is all about. So basically the whole supply chain portion of VeChain, and then I went into an in-depth technical analysis where I showed that VeChain had a 21x potential. So I will go ahead and link that video above and in the description below if you want to go follow it, if you want to go watch it, and if you want to learn how VeChain works and the whole idea behind VeChain. And then a second video after that, I believe that video came out in February of 2021. I can't remember the date exactly, but I will link that video below and above as well. So in that video, I also went on to explain one of the things that VeChain had done is VeChain had introduced what they call a Fee-Delegation as a service. And so for me to explain basically what this is, and back then, I also explained that because of that, VeChain doing that, it was also a catalyst for helping VeChain to basically be one of the top projects in the cryptocurrency market and staying around, or sticking around, should I say, for the long term. So in that video, basically what I explained was VeChain was looking into possibilities of how they can easily make the blockchain adoption to the real world. And so what they did was with the Fee-Delegation as a service is, for example, when we look at other platforms such as the Ethereum platform, when we look at the Ethereum platform, one of the biggest problems that Ethereum has is the Ethereum gas fees. And so users and developers end up in positions where, let's say if a developer has to develop a dApp, a decentralized application on the Ethereum blockchain, what happens is these developers end up paying really high fees to be able to even launch these smart contracts. And that is an issue because it's hard to scale. And the more the Ethereum price goes higher, the higher these gas fees increases. And so the other thing too is like even for users on that platform, users have to learn how the blockchain works so that they could be able to pay these gas fees in Ethereum. But VeChain, what they did was they introduced this Fee-Delegation as a service so that it basically bypasses paying the gas fees by the user. And what they do is they introduce in a Fee-Delegation service as provider, and that provider is basically in charge of paying those gas fees. So you can, let's say one company can use the VeChainThor blockchain to build an application on the VeChainThor blockchain, and then the users of that company can use the application without ever worrying about paying the gas fees. And what happens is there is a third party, which is the Fee-Delegation as a service provider, and that party, he's in charge of paying all the transactional fees happening in that, all the transactional fees happening in the app. And then the company that created the app will pay back the Fee-Delegation as a service their fees that they've paid. And typically on the VeChainThor blockchain, they have two tokens. So they have the Vechain token, which is considered the store of value, and then they have the VTHO token. And the VTHO token in this case is the one that is used for paying the gas fees, and VeChain is just a store of value. And so one of the other things that has been happening lately is that VeChain has been going into, as the price has been increasing, the gas fees have also been increasing because the Vethor power token has been increasing and gaining value at the same time as the VeChain token. And so the more the value, the more the token appreciates, the higher the gas fees have increased. And so what VeChain did is they decided to send out a vote so that users of the VeChain community and node operators would vote on 3 different outcomes. One of the outcomes was to vote so that they could take the gas price back down to 20% of the price it was at the time, or taking it back down to 5% of the price of what it was at the time, or back down to 1% of that price. And people voted, and they basically brought the price down to 1% of the price that it was at the time. And why is this big? This is big because this keeps making using the VeChainThor blockchain for enterprise solution much cheaper, because keeping the gas price cheaper incentivize companies and enterprise to come and use this product to build their applications so it can help them with the supply chain of their product. And the next thing is a big partnership that was revealed by VeChain on April 8th of 2021. And in this partnership, and I will go on to read, what happens here is that the Salesforce Director of Strategy and Architecture successfully tested an enterprise adoption idea on the VeChainThor blockchain. Guys, this is bullish because Salesforce is a huge company, and it is a company that their cloud services are used by so many companies around the world. And so if VeChain is partnering up with Salesforce, and that is big because it will give VeChain the exposure to all these big companies and all these big corporations. And that, guys, is I keep repeating, is big. So one of the things that the Salesforce director said was the key benefit of working with VeChain was the simplicity of integration, making that VeChain has made it so easy for these enterprise, for users to be able to use their product. And VeChain provides a blockchain as a service platform, which meant I did not have to provide any intermediary architecture myself. That means it's so easy that they don't have to build anything new, that the integration is just very pure, and that makes it easy for a mass adoption. So from what I've seen, this is unique to the VeChainThor public blockchain. And I thought it was a very good idea, especially for organizations who don't necessarily want to invest in more systems to maintain. So guys, this is big. Now let's jump into the chart. What we notice here is how VeChain has been going on an absolute tear lately. And so when we look at VeChain, and it also may be due to some of these reasons that I just presented to you, that VeChain has been absolutely just skyrocketing. And so now when I zoom in, and as you can see, I have a Fibonacci retracement level that I have traced here since the March lows of 2020 all the way to today's. And the first thing that I would like to look at here is, VeChain has been going up so much that I believe that VeChain has to go through some kind of correction before we go much higher. Because one of the things that we can see here is when we look at the RSI, we see the RSI is super overbought, and we need to get that, a little oversold before we march much higher again. And so one of the first things, there are 2 things that I typically use on my Fibonacci retracement levels. So on my Fibonacci, I use the 38% Fibonacci retracement level, and I also use the 61% Fibonacci retracement level. Why? Because in my own experience, I have came to find that these 2 levels are usually some of the strongest levels. And so if VeChain is going to correct, I am expecting that VeChain is probably going to correct around this 38% Fibonacci retracement level. And what is interesting here is that it does on the 1-hour chart, actually. So let me go back to the 1-hour chart. On the 1-hour chart, we can see that the 1 hour chart, if we look at the 150 moving average, the 150 moving average, it's somewhere around 17 cents. And so when I go back to the day chart and we look at the Fibonacci retracement level at 38%, we see that it is at 17.6%, almost 17.6 cents, almost 18 cents. And so I'm thinking that it might find some resistance there, and then it might go into a consolidation pattern before we go higher. But if it decides to go much lower than that, then it's probably going to drop all the way down to the 61 Fibonacci retracement level, which I think is very unlikely. But hey, nobody knows what's going to happen in this market, and it is very much possible that it drops to this level, and that would be dropping to about 10 cents or almost 11 cents. That will be down here, and that will most likely correspond with the rising 150 moving average. So now I've done 2 previous videos on VeChain, and in those videos I did say that VeChain was going to 21x, and people called me all kind of names. They said I was crazy and this and that. And so in this video, I would like to kind of go back on why I came up with that 21x and why that 21x is kind of playing as we are talking right now. And so the first thing that I will do is I will choose an info line, and I will place the info line at the market bottom of the 2020 March lows all the way to the recent highs in let's say recent highs in early of January 2021. And so when we look at that here, we can see that VeChain, by the time when I made that video, I think that video came out on like January 31st of 2021. And so we could tell that VeChain by then, since the March lows, had gone up by a whopping 2,100%. And that's why I was thinking, well, if VeChain has went up by 21x, then I think there is a potential that it could go up another 21x. But people called me crazy. And so now let's look at, since that video came live until today, how much VeChain has returned to us. So when I click and choose another info line, so that video came out, it was like, I believe, January 31st, like I said earlier. So I probably recorded that video on like January 28. So I will put that on the low of January 28, 27 right here. And then I will bring that all the way to the recent highs. I think it went all the way up to like almost 25 cents. So when we look at that, we see that VeChain since early February has went up by 10x, 1,000%, guys. So right here, my 21x has already been halfway fulfilled, right? So we are going toward that 21x. So now let's go into my price prediction. So why was I saying back then that it was going to a 21x? Because I was thinking at the time that a lot of people, there is a consensus that's saying that the entire cryptocurrency market is probably going to a 5 trillion valuation. And so let's go to CoinMarketCap. When we go to CoinMarketCap and we look at the current market cap, the current market cap is about $2.2 trillion. This is how much the entire cryptocurrency market is worth. And when we look at VeChain, VeChain is worth about $14.5 billion. And so my thinking is, I'm going to go to a calculator. My thinking is, if the total crypto market as of now is $2.2 trillion and VeChain is $14.5 billion, that means VeChain has a market dominance of about 65 or 66% if we round that out. So then let's say that the market goes to a 5 trillion valuation. So if it goes to a 5 trillion valuation, what we should do is we take the 65%, we multiply it by a 5 trillion valuation, then we get a 32, almost $33 billion valuation for VeChain, assuming that VeChain maintains its market dominance at about 0.65%. So then, if it is at 0.65%, and we say that, okay, so at 0.65%, we have almost $33 billion, but the current market cap is at about almost, 14.5 billion. When we take 33 billion divided by 14.5 billion, we get about 2.25 times. 2.27 times. So if it is 2.27 times from where the current levels at which we are now, that means we can take the current price of VeChain, which is about 0.22, and multiply it by 2.27, we get a VeChain price of about 50 cents. So now guys, at 50 cents, right? If I go back and move this info line that I have here and move that all the way up to about 50 cents. Now, see the number, it's 2,080%. Guys, that is a 21x. This is why I've been saying about 21x. At this point, all we just need VeChain to double from where it is right now. And my 21x% will be entirely fulfilled. So guys, I wasn't a fool when I was saying that. I was saying that based on facts and what the numbers in the chart is telling me. So with that being said, I hope that I provided you with enough value in this video. If that was the case, please allow me to ask you to hit the like button, subscribe, and to the notification bell, as it helps us with YouTube algorithm to get our message to a wider audience. By the way, the two previous VeChain videos that I spoke about, I will link them in the description below and above the screen up here. So if you would like to go watch them, you can go and watch them as well. Now, if you would like to start investing into the stock market but don't have an account with Webull, you can sign up using our Webull in the description below, the link, and when you sign up and deposit at least $100, we both get free stocks. Or you can go through a passing investing route and you can use our M1 Finance link in the description below. And when you sign up, deposit at least $100, we both get $30. Or for investing in the cryptocurrency market, because obviously this video is about crypto, you can sign up using our Coinbase link in the description below. And when you sign up and buy at least $100 worth of crypto, we both get $10 worth of Bitcoin. Or you can sign up for a BlockFi account using the link in the description below, and you can use BlockFi to store your crypto there and you can earn interest on your cryptocurrencies. And when you sign up using our link in the description below, you can get up to $250. With that being said, I'd like to say thank you, and I hope that I provided you with enough value in this video. If that was the case, I will see you in my next video on Sunday. Bye.